just walk me through how the fire service got involved in this, in terms of when you were called, what your assessment of the situation was, and what your men did when they got there.
All right. Thank you very much, and a very good morning to your viewers and your listeners as well. It's quite unfortunate that over the weekend, that was last Saturday, around 4:30 in the evening, we had to lose two precious lives to such a gory on an unfortunate accident at East Legon, closer to the Omama pharmacy. According to one eyewitness account, he recounted that the incident happened around 2:51. But unfortunately, they called us at exactly 4:30, which got us to the scene at exactly 4:51. We had to manage the heavy traffic en route to that incident scene. Therefore, we had to spend more than 10 minutes in traffic to be able to get to the scene. But when we got to the scene, the unfortunate had already happened, where two people were trapped in one of the vehicles that had been involved in the accident. We understand from our preliminary findings that one speeding vehicle crashed into one vehicle that was in traffic, waiting for the light to turn green to be able to pass, and then smashed into a security post, and as a result, brought down electric pole, which had live cables on it. So, based on our findings, the impact of the crash resulted in the outbreak, and then burst the two vehicles into flame. Fortunately enough, the two occupants of the speeding vehicle that crashed into the other waiting one were rescued by some members of the public and rushed to the hospital, as well as the vehicle that was crashed into two occupants in the front seat, the driver and then the one occupying the front seat, were also rushed out into the hospital. But it so happened that the two which were behind the crashed into vehicle were trapped, and as a result, based on their unconscious state, and then the fire that was raging on, it became very difficult for those who chanced upon the incident earlier to extricate them or to bring them out. And that is how come they unfortunately were burned to death. As I speak with you, our investigation team is trying as much as possible to get to the hospital. We understand they were rushed to the Legon Medical Center. We want to be able to go there and then to verify as to whether they were sent there, to be able to verify their condition now, and to be able to speak to those who are even taking care of them, to be able to understand their ages and what have you, to be able to conclude on our investigation. So I believe that when we are able to do that, we'll be able to share them with you and your listeners.
All right. So just to clarify, your men got there at 4:50.
4:51. We
But
were called.
What time were you called? You were called at 4:30.
4:30. Yes. And we had to battle the heavy traffic, from Medina to that stretch. I mean, the people were so adamant. They were not giving us the rights of way, even though our siren was on. So we had to spend close to 20 minutes or so in traffic before we got to the scene.
So just to be clear, your team was coming from Medina?
Yes, they were coming from Medina.
Wow. So Medina is the closest to that area?
Medina is the closest, and it's also the appliance that has all the needed equipment to be able to extricate and to also fight the fire. So it was a multi-purpose tender that was fit for purpose for that particular incident. So we had to.
So both vehicles got burnt, or just the one that was in traffic?
Yes. So two vehicles were involved. Honda Acura with registration number GR 2542-23, and then an unregistered 4x4 Jaguar vehicle. These were the vehicles that got into or were involved in the accident.
So it was the Jaguar that ran into the Honda.
Exactly.
And there were 2 occupants in the Jaguar, and then there were 4 occupants in the Honda. 2 of the occupants in the Honda were burnt beyond recognition, but 2 sent to the hospital. And then the 2 who were in the Jaguar that crashed into the Honda also rescued and sent to the hospital, but both cars got burnt.
Exactly.
Because the crash, apparently, you said it hit some power station or something, which also got... So it was not just the impact of the crash of the cars, but it was the power system that it crashed into that caused the fire.
And not exactly. We are yet to ascertain or conclude on our investigation, but the impact was so heavy that, when cars crash like that, because of the hazards that are present in the car or the vehicles, they could easily lead to some of these fire situations. But as to whether the cable or the pole that was hit and then the live cable falling on the affected vehicles contributed to the fire or its spread, we are yet to investigate and then conclude on that as well.
So do your team speak to eyewitnesses, or you depend on CCTV camera for the post-accident report?
Our investigation is very holistic. We don't just depend on eyewitnesses' accounts. We also, even though we also rely a bit on circumstantial evidence. We also do professional evidence gathering that is based on our professional eye. We are able to see and then look at the factors that could lead to these fires. So, in as much as possible, we do a very broad, holistic fire investigation when such incidents happen.
Now, we saw footage of the incident on Facebook. Was it your team that did that broadcast and put that out?
And Bernard, over the past 61 years or so, a section of Ghanaians have always lambasted us for, let's say, the wrong reason, for the flaws in our operations or in our activities, accusing us for not arriving early to emergency things, for not appearing with water and all that. Meanwhile, much of the accusations have no truth, or they are not factual. So we have decided as a service to, most often than not, to showcase some of these issues, some of these challenges that we go through, just to keep them safe. Because we do not create the fires in the first place. But when they call us and we appear, they tend to abuse us, they tend to vandalize our vehicles, tend to even assault our men for whatever reason is best known to them. Yes, we understand that we are an evolving institution, and therefore it is not always that we may get it right. And therefore, when we show some of these things, we would want the public to see the dangers that are associated with our job for which we have signed on to. And therefore, it is not always about the negative, but also we should be able to give credit to where credit is due. But why? Why not? If we do the wrong thing, why can't we also do the better thing maybe the next time round? And then also ensure that we get the right information out there so that the public that do normally accuse us and seemingly have lost confidence in us will be able to gain their confidence and then also be able to get their support in that light. So I know that a section of Ghanaians have raised the issue that why is it that we posted the gruesome images out there. We wanted the people to see what our men go through on every day, the blood that we see, the mutilated bodies that we encounter. But yes, still we appear every now and then to save their lives and to even prevent further property damage. And that for us, we want them to support us, not to just to put out those footages, just to create unpleasant situations for affected families. Yes, we do that, but not for the wrong reason. But we have taken notice of that. Therefore, going forward, we will be able to handle or be able to manage that thing so as not to cause disaffection for people who are grieving, for people who have lost their relatives.
So if I understand what you're saying, you are trying to say that the reason that the men did that live footage was to let the public know that they had gotten there at a particular time and that they were attending to the fire. But you realize that because it has caused public disaffection, going forward, you ask them not to do it again. Is that what you are saying?
Not exactly. I am saying that where lives are affected in such a manner and where emotions would also come into play, in showing such footages, we will be careful what to display and what not to display. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but why a Facebook Live? If you want a record of the time you got there, any camera that records an incident has a timestamp. So we all know that this was recorded at exactly this time. But to have the presence of mind to do a Facebook Live when you are quenching a fire that has such a grievous life and death consequence, it sounds like it's more like a show. You know, you are saving lives and then one of your people is filming it and doing a live broadcast. That is pretty, I mean, I'm not going to say it's irresponsible, but it borders on, I don't know. I don't have the right word, but it's serious. Because if you are quenching a fire of that magnitude and then one of your people is putting it live on Facebook for people to watch, I mean, is that part of your job?
Bernard, I think that we need to situate this conversation very well. It is not just about letting the people that we serve know just about the time that we got there. We want them to have a feel of what we go through to save them and to bring some form of relief to the fires or the incident that they caused. The psychological abuse over the last 61 years has not helped us that much. We know that as a service, we don't have it all, but we go even beyond our capacity to be able to save their own life. And therefore, in as much as we may, in a way, falter, it does not mean that all is lost with the Ghana National Fire Service. Just that let us all, as responsible citizens, play our role in ensuring that we keep our communities safe.
Fair enough. So I guess it's not something you're going to repeat because, as I said, you can capture the incident and we will know. If you give a journalist a footage of an incident, he will know the time the incident was taken because it is recorded. So you can achieve that record without the trauma of streaming it live. Of course, other people also put it live as well, and it was all over the place, and it didn't really help. But I think you've explained. So going forward, though, what's your advice? Because we're also told that, and of course, you're not a road safety officer, but it's quite clear that there was speeding involved in this. Based on what you found as a service, what's your advice to vehicle users on the roads?
Yes, thank you very much. I believe that we would, as a service, continue to collaborate with relevant agencies to churn out safety messages to ensure that our roads are kept safe. We would want to advise motorists and then road users to always remain vigilant and cautious when using the road, and especially owners of vehicles to ensure regular, proper maintenance. They should send their vehicles to competent garages with experienced auto mechanics and electricians who can fix their cars with genuine parts so that their cars will be fit for purpose. And then also avoid tendencies such as overspeeding, drink driving, overtaking, wrongful overtaking, and to a larger extent, ensure that the road safety regulations are adhered to so as to keep our roads safe. I am pleading with drivers especially. If you know you are on medication that makes you feel a bit dizzy, please stay away from your wheel, so as to be able to keep yourself and others safe in that light. So we would continue to join forces with the relevant stakeholders in the road safety industry to be able to drive home the need for motorists and road users to be cautious,
all right,
especially as the Christmas approaches.
Mr. Aka, let me confirm two things, and thank you for your patience. You said that there were 4 people in the Honda and then 2 in the Jaguar. Some people said they thought there were 5. So can you just clarify that there were actually 4 people in the car that was hit? Was it 4 or 5?
All right. So before we got to the incident, these 4, that is 2 in the Jaguar vehicle and then 2 in the Honda Acura, had been rescued and sent to the hospital already. We had to help to finally bring extinction to the fire and then also explicate to bring out and retrieve the 2 burnt bodies from the Honda Acura vehicle. So we can confirm that 6 people were involved in the accident, but it's unfortunate that 2 had to be burnt in such situation, whilst 4 were sent to the hospital for medical attention.
And have you confirmed the identities of any of the people involved?
And like I indicated earlier, our team is here to reach out to those who were sent to the Legon medical facility, and we'll be able to do our further investigation to know their sex, their age, their names, and all the other fine details. So as and when we are able to do that, I believe that we'll share them with you and your cherished listeners and viewers as well.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Now the substantive PRO of the fire service, and this is great.
And like I indicated earlier, our team is here to reach out to those who were sent to the Legon medical facility, and we'll be able to do our further investigation to know their sex, their age, their names, and all the other fine details. So as and when we are able to do that, I believe that we'll share them with you and your cherished listeners and viewers as well.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Now the substantive PRO of the fire service, and this is grade 2, I believe. PRO grade 2 or DO Desmond Aka. I hope I got it right this time.
DO2.
DO2. Thank you, sir. Thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, you could see my struggle there because they've gone to quench a fire. So I shouldn't be putting them on the line, but they also shouldn't have done what they did.